Hey everybody, welcome to another Blast from the Past G.I.Joe Classified Edition. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Cobra Island Gabriel Barbecue Kelly. Now, Barbecue, as I said, from the Cobra Island Special Missions Target exclusive line. So he was only available at Target or Pulse, although I'm pretty sure you were able to pick him up from like Ollie's and Ross if you live in America, and obviously over here in the UK don't have Target, so pick them up pretty much anywhere online or whatever that sold G.I. Joe Classified. So Barbecue was part of the final wave of the Cobra Island series released in 2021, and because of the debacle Target went through with distribution, not entirely related to COVID, although that did have a large impact, they kind of changed how they would do exclusives like this, and instead of giving Target original characters like the Viper and the Major Blood and Firefly and Barbecue, they started giving Target repaints like Python Patrol and Tiger Force instead. That way people wouldn't be as upset about not being able to get, rich characters in their original colors. Although even with the Python Patrol and Tiger Force, there were some complaints about how Target was keeping them in stock, or lack thereof anyway. In any case, we got Barbecue here, and he isn't one of the more popular figures. I think he was like one of the first to show up in Ollie's and Ross's. Maybe Roadblock was one of the others that showed up there quite frequently in the beginning. I'm not sure. I don't live in America, but I have heard or read about such things, seeing plenty of barbecues and like Roadblocks and the Snake Eyes Origins movie figures all lining the shelves at discount stores because no one was buying them at retail. Barbecue was a weird choice for Cobra Island because G.I. Joe's essentially, the special mission, G.I. Joe's essentially invading the island. And it just seems weird to bring a firefighter with you when you're invading an enemy island. Like, what possible use could he be? If you're going to set fires there, it's going to be to destroy enemy infrastructure. Do you really want him putting them out? I mean, and it's not like he comes with any guns. You could give him a gun, obviously, but the figure itself doesn't come with any guns as an accessory. So you're sending a firefighter on a mission to invade the enemy's home island, where their main headquarters and everything is located, and it doesn't make sense from a strategical standpoint. I don't get what his role in the whole special missions for Cobra Island was, and Hasbro's not giving us any stories with these. There's no file cards or any kind of storyline working through Classified, so there wasn't any idea of what he was doing there or what his purpose was. But anyway, one of the major complaints about Barbecue, from what I've read, is that they used Destra's body for him. And people were saying that because Destra was so big and bulky and tall, Barbecue should have been shorter. But I guess if you want to nitpick that much, sure, go ahead. Whatever. I like the figure just fine. I think he's a pretty good upgrade over the one we got in the 80s. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at the box first. It's that standard G.I. Joe version of the Special Mission Cobra Island packaging, where you got the Cobra Island, like, little map on the back, in the background there. Those two snakes on either side, and the globe kind of right there on the bottom. You got the special missions Cobra Island branding, Gabriel Barbecue Kelly, a picture of him over here, number 32 in the line, a plastic window on the top for the light, and the G.I.Joe star. On this side, you get another piece of artwork. Now, when they go plastic free, they start using artwork from various different artists. Before then, I think they were using pretty much the same artist, or at least the same art style. But once they went plastic free, they started mixing it up a little bit. Actually, I think they started mixing up even before then. Because I think, yeah, Stalker was plastic free, and Spirit was plastic free, and they had alternate artists as well. But the artwork has all looked pretty much like it's been done by the same person up until now, up through now. But so I don't think they start switching that up until a little while later, like maybe in 2022. I can't remember when Stalker came out. Anyway, 32 on this, number 32 on the side here. There's all his file card, essentially, information. You got the legalese on the bottom, and then the Cobra Island map on the back as usual. You've got, that looks like a Terradrome, possibly, in an inlet leading into the greater lagoon area of this section here. And then you have up here, that's the airport over there. You can see the rattlers on the runway. And this is probably just extra airfield. Maybe where they put their helicopters and stuff. Who knows? So that looks like a different... These both look like different close-ups than we've seen in the previous packaging. So that's still cool. I really did like this aspect of the box, of the packaging. It would be cool to see it again, but I don't think we're going to, because the plastic packaging we have now has replaced this with diorama shots of the figures, which are also cool, but it'd be nice if they came up with a way to include map like this, like maybe put that in the back here instead of that logo, or put an actual paper map and then stick it in the box with the figure. Would also be cool. But in any case, back to the figure. And this is Gabriel Barbecue Kelly. As you can see, he's pretty bulky. Even bulkier due to the overlay they've given him. This cannot be removed in any conventional way. If you wanted to take it off, you'd have to cut it off of him. It doesn't have any open slits or anything, or straps to slide it off or disconnect it. It's just put over top of him and then like sealed shut. I guess if you really wanted to, if you pop the arms off and the head off, you could probably slide it up over the top. Yeah, it looks like you could definitely do that, but that's a lot of work. Not something I'm willing to do. He's got 2 overlays, or 3 overlays. He's got the vest, of course, and then he has this hook for one of his axes here, and this holster for his water gun here. These are... looks like they're part of the sculpt. Yeah. I don't think they're glued on. So yeah, he's using Destro's body, including Destro's boots, which again, people don't like Destro's boots. I know there's some collectors I talked to who say they turn the boot around and use it like that because they prefer that look instead of this look here. So if you wanted, you could do that. All you have to do is twist the foot around and then peg it back up again, and there you go. Boot style doesn't bother me that much. It may not be like official firefighter gear, but whatever. It's not real. Aside from the mostly red color on the figure, you only have a few other paint touches here and there. We got some red here on the forearm. We got a symbol that could just be a tampo rather than paint on the arm there. These are sculpted, by the way. They're not removable. So that's sculpted in that pouch there. You got that green paint on the gauge on his chest. Yeah, his knee pads are a little darker than the rest of him. And as are the elbow pads. But otherwise, pretty good looking figure for, I mean, what would you expect from a firefighter? Considering what the original one looked like, I think this is a good recreation of that and a good upgrade of what we got in the 80s, like I said before. So I didn't expect much from this figure. So for what he is and what we got, I think it was a really good. I think they did a good job with him. Another one of the complaints about the figure is they didn't give him an unmasked head. Like we saw him without his helmet a few times in the cartoon. So some people wanted an extra head, but that probably would have pushed him up price-wise. So I can see why they didn't do it. I wouldn't object to an unmasked head, but we didn't get one, so. Some people have used the Marvel Legends arcade. They use his head as Barbecue's unmasked head, so that can work if you want to do that. Going over articulation. He's got this collar piece there that kind of gets in the way, but if you kind of push the head down before you push it forward, you can get him to look down about that far. And then he can look all the way up pretty much. He can exorcist. He's got some tilt there. His arm can go all the way around. And can hinge up about that far. He does have the butterfly joint, although you don't get a lot movement out of it. Still better than nothing. Got the bicep cut, double jointed pinned arms. He's got an up-down hinge on his right wrist and on his left wrist, so he's ambidextrous. Of course, trigger fingers on both sides. He does have an ab crunch under here. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. But of course, the overlay gets in the way, so you're not going to get a lot out of it. About that far forward. That much back. You can twist. You've got some waist tilt there. You can do the Van Damme splits with those drop-down hips. Yeah, that one's stuck. You can kick out about that far. Yeah, I might have gotten his holster in the way. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's about it right. And kick back about that far. He does have a thigh cut. Double jointed. Pinned legs. Pinned knees. You've got a boot swivel. His foot can go back all the way. Go forward about that far. He does have the rocker. He does have the peg holes on the bottom. Accessory-wise, he comes with this backpack, which has flame retardant foam canisters. And there's some nice red paint on the canisters and some little like pictographs here on the front, showing you all the stuff that you can use it for. No other paint on it, bringing out the detail, unfortunately. And there is a little bit of detail in there. You can see that the little hook here, that's for one of his axes. Can fit that in there. And there's also a peg on the side. And that's where this comes in. This hose can peg into his backpack, like so. And then the other end of the hose can peg into this water gun, water pistol, whatever you want to call it. Now it does have a peg hole in the front, but there, as of yet, have not been any like water effects that you can plug into that. Maybe someday. I don't know if they've made any water effects for like any other toy lines either, so I imagine they have. There's some like superheroes that have water effects. Like, have they done a Hydro Man yet? He probably has water effects. But you can take the backpack, plug it into his back here, and then the gun slides into his holster. Of course, now you got the hose sticking out like that. There's nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. It is pretty rigid, so it's a bit flexible, but it's not gonna like move. If you push it, it's just gonna come back right back out again. He also comes with this axe. This is the smaller of the two axes he comes with. This is more like a hand axe rather than a two-hander. It's got some nice paint on the end of the blade there, and then on the spiked knuckle duster it has, kind of reminiscent of a trench knife, except in an axe form. So that's kind of cool. And you can plug that into his waist, or in his thigh here. You can stick it in like that, or turn it around. Either way, doesn't matter. It can fit both ways. And lastly, he comes with this bigger axe. It's got the paint on the blade again, just like the smaller one. Mine got a little miscue there. Got a nice handle, nice long handle you can hold with both hands if you want them to. Or if you just want them to stand and chill out, you can holster the axe on the side of his backpack here. Yeah, that might not be the right spot. Huh. It's not fitting. It should slide in there. It might need to be heated up a little bit. It might have. It's really hard plastic, so it might have. The cold weather might have caused it to constrict a bit. I don't know. Like, I remember storing it like this for a while it was on my shelf, but then I took it off and put it in his hand. And I went and got it for this review, and now it won't fit there anymore. Oh well, it does go there, or it should go there at any point, at any rate. Yeah, maybe you can hook it up here. And that kind of spreads the peg out a little bit. The clip there, I wouldn't want to put it there. Guess I'll just have him hold it. That's the way I'm going to have him displayed anyway, with him holding the axe rather than storing it. I just wanted to try to show you him storing it before I finish the review, but oh well. I guess he won't be storing it in this review. But yeah, if you put some heat to that peg on his back, you can probably get it loosened enough to slide the axe in there. If you want to store him like that. Like maybe you want to put him in a display with the gun in his hand instead. So you can have him looking better than with the hose sticking out on the side. But that's Barbecue. Pretty decent figure. I mean, if you're a completionist, he's a welcome addition to your collection, or maybe you just liked the character in the 80s when you collected originally. For those of you who just want like a war themed display for your Joe toys, and you might not pick him up because he kind of sticks out. Not in a bad way necessarily. He definitely clashes color-wise with most of their other Joes. They're mostly in greens and browns and blacks, and then he's got all this bright red-orange type gear. But if you're a completionist, or if you were a collector in the 80s like I was, then you probably would pick him up, because he was one of the original figures from back in the day. So, and now we've got him in 6-inch form. They did release another version of him, the Mad Marauders, or Slaughterous Marauders, if you want to use the old 80s term, which is basically the same accessories, and the rest of his design was basically the same, but just the color was different. I will go over Mad Marauders Barbecue when we get to that point. I did consider just bringing him out and doing them together, but I'm probably going to regret it when I get to him down the line, because I'm not going to really add much to it and to that review. And it's probably this, along with that Mad Marauder Barbecue, probably going to be 2 of my lowest viewed videos, because I don't think this figure is that popular. I might be wrong. We'll see how the views go. In any case, that's Barbecue. Next week is the Battle Android Trooper. That'll be a fun one. One of the best figures, best troop builders of the line. So we will be taking a look at that next Sunday on the Blast from the Past. So like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think of Barbecue. You might like him better than I do, I don't know. And then I'll see you next week for the bat. Until next time.